They said it would never happen. They said these two could never stand side by side. They said the war between them was too deep, too personal, too damn brutal to ever be forgotten. And yet, here we are. John Cena, CM Punk. War Games. The most dangerous structure in all of professional wrestling. 5 men locked in 2 rings surrounded by steel. Nowhere to run. Nowhere to hide. Only one way out: through blood, through pain, through absolute carnage. But this isn't just another match. This isn't just another Survivor Series. This is the collision of everything we thought we knew about loyalty, about pride, about what happens when you push a man past his breaking point and dare him to come back swinging. Because when CM Punk picked up that phone, when he swallowed every ounce of pride in his body and made a call he swore he'd never make, when he asked the one man he vowed to never align with again for help, the wrestling world stopped breathing. And when John Cena answered, everything changed. Let me take you back. Let me paint you the picture of how we got here. Because this story? It's not just about a match. It's about years of hatred, years of betrayal, years of 2 men who represented everything the other despised, forced to become the one thing neither of them ever wanted to be: brothers in war. It started 4 weeks ago on Monday Night Raw. CM Punk stood in the center of that ring, microphone in hand, blood still fresh on his forehead from the ambush that had left him broken just minutes before. Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio. 5 men who had one mission and one mission only: destroy CM Punk before he could reach Survivor Series. And they damn near succeeded. The attack was vicious. It was calculated. It was the kind of beatdown that ends careers. Seth Rollins drove Punk through the announce table with a curb stomp that echoed through the arena like a gunshot. Drew McIntyre locked in the Future Shock DDT on the steel steps. Bronson Reed, all 330 pounds of pure violence, delivered a tsunami splash from the top rope that left Punk gasping for air like a drowning man reaching for the surface. But Punk got up. Bloodied. Broken. Barely able to stand. But he got up. And he said 7 words that sent shockwaves through every arena, every living room, every wrestling fan watching around the world: I need help. And I need him. The crowd erupted. They knew. We knew. Who do you think Punk was calling? Drop your guess in the comments before we reveal it. Punk didn't say the name. He didn't have to, because everyone in that building understood exactly who he meant. The one man who could match the violence Seth Rollins promised to bring. The one man who had survived every kind of war WWE could throw at him. The one man who Punk had spent years claiming he'd never team with again. John freaking Cena. The history between these two isn't just complicated, it's explosive. Remember Money in the Bank 2011? CM Punk sitting cross-legged on that stage, microphone in hand, speaking truth to power while John Cena stood across from him representing everything Punk claimed was wrong with WWE? That wasn't just a promo. That was a declaration of war. Punk called Cena a corporate sellout, a kiss ass, a pretty boy who smiled for the camera while real wrestlers bled for respect. He said Cena represented the machine that held talent down, that kept guys like him from reaching the top. And Cena? Cena fired back, calling Punk a bitter, jealous malcontent who couldn't handle the pressure of being the guy. Their match that night in Chicago was more than a WWE Championship match. It was personal. It was art. It was 2 philosophies colliding with the force of a freight train at full speed. And when Punk won, when he walked out of WWE with that championship held high, it felt like the revolution had finally come. But revolutions don't last forever. The years that followed saw these 2 men cross paths again and again. Allies out of necessity. Enemies by choice. They tagged together. They fought each other. They respected each other's talent while despising everything the other represented. It was beautiful. It was tragic. It was everything professional wrestling should be. And then, silence. CM Punk left WWE in 2014, bitter and broken. Cena carried on, becoming the face of the company for another decade. Different paths, different destinies. And everyone assumed that was it. The Punk-Cena story was over. Until now. Until Punk came back. Until he returned to WWE after 9 years away, older, angrier, more dangerous than ever. Until he found himself surrounded by wolves hungry for his blood. Until he realized that pride wouldn't save him this time. He needed an army. And to build an army, he needed a general. He needed John Cena. The call happened off camera. We don't know what Punk said. We don't know how long Cena took to answer. But 3 days later, on SmackDown, the world got its answer. The lights went out. And when they came back on, there he was. John Cena stood at the top of the ramp in that familiar music. That familiar pose. But something was different. There was no smile. No salute. No pandering to the crowd. Just cold, hard focus. He walked to that ring like a man preparing for war, not entertainment. CM Punk stood in the ring, battered from another assault just hours before. Drew McIntyre had hit him with a claymore that nearly took his head off. The doctors were saying Punk shouldn't compete at Survivor Series. The smart move was to pull out, to recover, to fight another day. But Punk isn't smart. Punk is stubborn. Punk is proud. And Punk was pissed. Cena stepped through the ropes. The two men stood face to face. The arena was screaming. Dueling chants of "Let's go Cena" and CM Punk shook the building. For 15 seconds that felt like 15 hours, they just stared, and then Cena extended his hand. Punk looked at it like it was covered in poison. His jaw clenched. His eyes burned with everything these two had said to each other over the years. Every insult, every cheap shot, every moment of mutual disrespect. The crowd held its breath, and Punk shook his hand. The place exploded. "War Games," Cena said into the microphone, his voice steady as stone. "You and me. Against Seth. Against Drew. Against whoever the hell they bring. We walk in together. We fight together. And we survive together." Punk nodded. "But after this is over? After we burn that cage to the ground and leave those boys in a pile of broken dreams? You and I? We're done. No reunion tour. No nostalgia trip. We go back to staying the hell away from each other." Cena smiled for the first time that night. Wouldn't have it any other way. The pact was sealed. But everyone watching knew the truth. This alliance was built on necessity, not trust. These two men didn't like each other. They didn't respect each other's choices. They were gasoline and fire in the same room, held together by duct tape and desperation. And if history taught us anything, this kind of partnership doesn't end well. Be honest, do you think Cena and Punk can actually trust each other in War Games? Comment below. But Seth Rollins wasn't about to let this happen quietly. The very next week on Raw, Seth stood in that ring with his team: Drew McIntyre, Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, and Dominic Mysterio, and he laughed. "You think John Cena saves you, Punk?" Seth's voice dripped with venom. "You think bringing in the Golden Boy changes anything? Let me tell you what's going to happen at Survivor Series. We're going to walk into War Games, and we're going to expose you for what you really are: desperate. A desperate old man clinging to past glories. And Cena? He's going to realize what everyone else already knows. That teaming with CM Punk is a death sentence." Drew McIntyre grabbed the mic. "Cena's soft now. He's been making movies, playing superhero, living the Hollywood life. He's forgotten what it's like to step into a real fight. And when the bell rings, when the cage door locks, he's going to remember why he stayed gone for so long. Because we're going to break him." Bronson Reed stepped forward, his massive frame casting a shadow over everyone. "I ended careers. I've put men on stretchers. And at War Games, I'm putting Cena and Punk in the hospital." The threat was clear. This wasn't going to be a wrestling match. This was going to be an execution. And Punk and Cena? They needed more than just each other. The next piece of the puzzle came together when Cody Rhodes made his intentions clear. The American Nightmare had his own history with Seth Rollins. These two had been brothers in the Shield. They'd bled together, fought together, built an empire together. And then Seth turned on him, just like he turned on everyone else who ever trusted him. Cody wanted revenge. And when Punk approached him backstage, asking if he'd stand with them in War Games, Cody didn't hesitate. "I've been waiting for a chance to get Seth in that cage," Cody said, his voice steady but seething with barely controlled rage. "Count me in. 3 down, 2 to go. Because in War Games, you need 5. And Punk knew exactly who he wanted for the 4th spot. Sami Zayn. Sami had his own reasons to hate this group. Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio had made Sami's life hell for months, costing him opportunities, jumping him backstage, treating him like he didn't belong at their level. When Punk found Sami in the locker room and asked him to join the team, Sami looked at him for a long moment before nodding. "I'm tired of running from them," Sami said. "It's time to fight back. 4 down, 1 to go. And the final spot? That's where things got interesting. Kevin Owens. KO. The prizefighter. A man who'd been Sami's best friend, worst enemy, and everything in between. A man who didn't trust CM Punk as far as he could throw him. A man who had every reason to say no. But Kevin Owens had one reason to say yes. Seth Rollins. These two had unfinished business dating back months. Seth had cost Kevin championship opportunities. Seth had disrespected him on live television. Seth had made it personal. When Punk approached Kevin with the offer, KO crossed his arms and stared at the team that had assembled. "Cena, Cody, Sami, Punk, you're asking me to trust you?" Kevin said, pointing at Punk. "After everything you've done? After all the chaos you've caused since you came back?" Punk didn't flinch. "I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm asking you to help me destroy Seth Rollins. You want a piece of him? This is your chance. Kevin thought about it. He looked at Sami, who nodded. He looked at Cena, who remained stone-faced. He looked at Cody, who simply said, "We need you." And finally, Kevin Owens cracked a smile. "Hell yeah, I'm in." The team was complete. CM Punk, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. 5 men who didn't fully trust each other. 5 men with egos, with grudges, with histories of betrayal and broken promises. But